Hello, my name is John Creasy and I'm the current Student Paper Chair for the J.D. Williams Student Paper Award for INMM. Thank you for being a judge at this year's annual conference. It really helps us out and I think it will enrich everyone involved. We've designed this process to be as painless as possible, and you can actually complete your judge submittals on a phone, on your tablet, or on your laptop during the conference in real time while you're watching the events, or if you want to watch the events later in the event that they're recorded. So now I'd like to dive in with you on how to be a student paper judge. This can all be done electronically. If you really prefer, there's a way that we can send you the forms and you can fill them out manually and send them back. So what does being a student paper judge entail? Well, it's really quite simple. We ask that you sign up to observe some of the student presentations. You don't have to observe all of them. You can observe just one. We'd really like you to observe several. That really helps us out a lot. And two, we'd like you to submit the judge forms for each presentation that you watch. And as I said earlier, that can be done while you're watching it on a tablet, on your computer, even on your phone. The form will work. And then you click submit, and that goes back to our spreadsheet so we can tabulate student scores to choose winners in each division. So now let's go ahead and take a look at how to fill out those forms. On this screen, you can see how judges sign up to judge the papers throughout the conference. In the upper left, there's a link to the judging form so that anytime you can click that and have a fresh student paper judging submittal. On the left, you see the judge sign up. Typically, we like 3 or more judges per presentation. Next, you see the time of that session, the type of session, what it's lined up to, the title of the session, and importantly, the abstract number, and then the title of the abstract. We also note if it's an oral presentation or a poster. So what we ask you to do is to sign up in the left column and append your name in the event that other judges have signed up in that cell. So let's talk a bit about the rules of being a judge and scoring. These are enumerated here on this slide. Judges should not judge papers in which there's a conflict of interest. So that means you can't be a family member, be a supervisor, or be another participant giving a student paper. The schedule of the papers to be reviewed and information about the scoring should especially not be shared with the students, but we prefer you don't share that with anyone outside of this judging community. We divide this criteria into 2 sections, and that's how the papers are judged: the written paper as well as the oral presentation. The criteria for the oral presentation is 2 parts. One is for the speaking capability and one is for the visual aid. The written technical evaluation, the oral speaking, and the visual aids are divided into 5 categories to be reviewed on a scale from 1 to 4, with the 1 being the lowest and 4 the highest. Each part of the paper's review, the technical part, the speaking, the visual aid, will add up to be scored from 5 to 20. We also encourage additional comments, and we can include those for feedback to the students. So let's dive into filling out this form. First, we'd like you to provide your email so that we can reach out to you if there are any questions. Next, you'll put the student or the paper number, or both, so that we know which paper is being judged. We'd like you to put your name as the judge, and then you'll tell us whether or not you're grading the written paper or the oral presentation. For most of you watching this, you'll be actually grading the oral presentation, so you will click on that. Let's talk about the speaking skills which you will be evaluating. You're going to be looking at how the student delivers their paper, the knowledge of the student, the poise of the student, eye contact, and how the student answers questions. We recognize that the students may give their presentations over video, and if that's the case, we are going to be removing the eye contact portion of the score sheet. But since that's built into the score sheet, we'd like you to answer for a 3 in the event that the student is giving the presentation over video. So as you can see in the online form, you can quickly evaluate each of the skills being assessed with a drop-down menu. The drop-down menu has rankings from 1 to 4, and you can score something with a half point as well, such as 2.5 or 3.5. So we'll go through the speaking skills, and next we'll talk about the visual aids. Here you can see how we would like you to judge visual aid quality. It's divided into sections of organization, graphics, text, spelling and grammar, and the conclusions. And the rankings from 1 to 4 are from left to right. So let's talk about the visual aid quality that's to be assessed. We'd like you to assess the students based on their organization of visual aids, their graphics, the text, the spelling and grammar, and the conclusion of their presentation. And as you can see in the visual aid quality evaluation portion of the online form, it is filled out the same way, with rankings from 1 to 4, with half-point rankings allowed. At the bottom of the form, you can see that there's room for additional comments. You can also check a box to have the copy of your responses sent to you, and then you can click Submit. Go on to judge another paper. So that's it. Pretty simple, right? You might actually still have some questions, so reach out to me with those, and I'll help you resolve them. You're really helping us out by being a student paper judge. So this is the part where I ask you to help us recruit more student paper judges. The more judges we have, the better statistics we have on the student paper scores, and it also lightens the load on each judge. So with that, I'd like to thank you again. Our team and the students appreciate your help, and I look forward to seeing you at the conference.